How about we move on to best console exclusive?
Sure.
All right, who's leading the way?
Take it, Dan.
All right, best console exclusive.
Oh, you know what? We
Christ.
started with you last time. Matt, why don't
All
we
right,
started with me last time?
Yeah.
So who are we starting?
I don't care.
Dan, you can go.
All right.
Talk about your dumb walking simulator game.
Oh, was that a console exclusive? Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot.
Best
That was a
console exclusive should go to Death Stranding for the sheer uniqueness of that game, the story, and the amount of care and the lack of like bugs and issues in that game, and how massive the world is. That should be a hands down exclusive winner. Because it not only that, it just captured like everyone, even people that weren't that interested in it. Like Andy was not that interested in it, and yet he was kind of remotely interested in. Oh, I want to know the story. I want to
still
play it.
acknowledge its triumphs.
No, yeah.
Despite its divisiveness among
Yeah.
users.
So, but because, like I said, because the game was just so well made, regardless of whether it was fun in certain people's idea or not.
Regardless of whether it was fun, it was the console.
No, but I
game
mean,
of the year.
fun is subjective. I found it fun and rewarding to take a package. You know, the one of them's a pizza delivery that you have to deliver across the map, and it has to be flat the whole time. You don't have to.
Can you imagine if the rain got on the pizza? How upset you would be.
rain.
Like, you're just waiting for someone to deliver this pizza across country, and then it's just like this old, gross, moldy thing.
Yep, you do have 30 minutes.
It's free.
or you get a sucky grade for it. But
I just want to interrupt the conversation really quick. I just want to say I want to give Dan a lot of credit for like not only doing the podcast but also working on the social media as we do the podcast. No, I'm serious. Like, that's like
sorry, trying to just
I
post some excitement.
I actually want to give you credit for that. That's like, to me, that's an awesome thing that you're doing.
Anyway, yes.
So, anyways, go on.
Anyway, so like I said, I just the sheer fact that this game was just so well made, and again, going back to the subjective thing, some people find Dark Souls like it's a chore to play that game, and I find it extremely rewarding, and that's the reason why I play games is because of the challenge. I mean, that's why I've put Death Stranding on the hardest difficulty. That's why I put Star Wars on the hardest difficulty. Is I don't want a game that just holds my hand and then I'm going to beat, guaranteed. I want those games like Zelda where if I can't figure out the puzzle, I can't get past it. So I need to figure this out. I don't like the Far Cries where I literally can just go in and just throw grenades and blow everything up and I'm just gonna win. Or it's gonna save after like 7 enemies have died, so that it makes it easy for me. This one, you can't get past it, you can't beat it. So, and that's the thing with Death Stranding, especially on this difficulty, you can't pass it unless, of course, you do it right. And there was a few moments that I had to think outside the box, some mental puzzles to figure out. And again, Hideo Kojima did throw another one of those crazy think outside the box, things to get past one part, which I thought was awesome. I immediately was like, oh, I'm a Kojima fan. I know exactly what he wants. So I was able to figure it out. But I like I said, I just think not only for the gameplay, but the story, the characters, and just the polish in that game was absolutely
Can I
incredible.
ask you something?
Yeah, go
Was
ahead.
Norman Reedus good in the game?
Yeah.
Because I saw him at the Game Awards, and he looked really awkward presenting that award. I'm like, oh my god, was he like a bad actor in that game? Because I don't really watch Walking Dead.
I don't know. To me, he
he-
felt kind of like a generic protagonist. Where like,
See, I liked it because he was very distant from everyone. He has a problem with people like he has a personal space issue.
I want to clarify. I'm not saying Norman Reedus is a bad actor. I'm
no,
just
but
saying
in this
that
game, yeah,
he looks a little awkward at the Game Awards presenting the award. I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's not a bad actor.
It's a little awkward
good
that in the
actor.
cutscenes he does talk, but then like when he's delivering stuff, he doesn't say a word. Like people are like, "Hey, how you doing?" and he's just standing there like nothing. I understand that they probably didn't feel like
That's just a video game.
that's
thing,
just a video
yeah.
game, like cliche kind of thing. But when he speaks, you understand why he's frustrated and why he's doing this. This is the only thing he's good at and the only thing he can do pretty much to help. So he's like, this is what I'm gonna do.
Do you have any honorable mentions for console exclusive?
Yeah, so for the other console exclusive has to go to Link's Awakening. I am enjoying the heck out of that game. Woo! And it's also fun to see lots of the more I play it, the lots of like Easter eggs of Nintendo games that I'm seeing.
Was also in the original.
Yeah, but I mean, just for me, this is the first time that
It's really just a lot of random Mario shit.
Yeah, there was another game that I thought it was that I thought I saw the other day. that
really?
Was in it. Yeah, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, Link's Awakening just feels like another great Zelda game from like heavily based on the Super Nintendo like style, the bird's eye view of the Zelda. World.
And it came out right after the original came out.
Yeah.
After Link to the Past, which was that style, and it is nice that they go back and forth between the top downs, and even if it is a remake, back and forth between the top downs and like the
side scrolling and.
Whatever Breath of the Wild was like.
The
random
I thought you
regular
meant, sorry, I
third
thought you
person.
meant in the actual.
No.
Link's Awakening.
The actual Zelda releases go back and forth between kind of the top downs, and then it's just nice. It's nice that it's not just one flavor. I guess Mario does that a little bit too.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea, and I think they, like I said, I think they nailed it, and it screams like Zelda without even having Link in there. You can almost tell that it's a Zelda game, just because of the color palette, the art style. It's fantastic, the music, everything. And then the last one,
like even if Link wasn't there, you could tell it was like a Zelda game.
If you took him out of that world and just saw the picture, a screenshot, like without Link, like right in the center, you could almost tell that it's a Zelda game.
Do you know what's funny? I think the exact opposite.
Really?
And here's why. It feels like the only Zelda game where like you could replace Link with anybody, and I wouldn't know it was a Zelda game because it doesn't have any of the other Zelda elements in there. There, aside from like the weapons, but there's no Ganondorf. There's no actual Zelda. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played this game. You haven't finished it yet, I guess.
No, I don't wanna. I was actually hoping Ganon was in it, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, it's like the only one that's like outside of the complete universe of like Zelda. So that's really funny that you say that. But I apologize. I
That's
forgot
fine.
you.
I mean, I kind of figured there wasn't Ganon because I didn't get that.
But anyways, was there any other honorable mentions?
Yes. The other honorable mention was way back at the beginning of the year. There was a wonderful motorcycle club game named Days Gone.
Was that console exclusive?
Yeah.
Yes.
How come I don't know these things are console
Yeah,
exclusives?
PlayStation.
Because you just play games on PS4.
That is true.
Both Death Stranding and Days Gone were console. I, for some reason, just completely forgot that both of those were console exclusives.
So I mean, there are not many moments where you feel, or in a video game that I felt overwhelmed by an enemy. Like, you're like, oh yeah, there's a few enemies, I can just sit behind here, and the enemy's gonna be dumb, and they're not gonna come over here. But when you run into a horde, especially at the end of this game, and they are on you, you feel it. Like, it is a unique feeling when a horde is attacking you. And then when they're on your nipping at your heels, you're like, oh shit. And of course, then you realize you parked the fucking bike the wrong way. And you're like, son of a bitch. So you can't just like pull away.
Another missed opportunity game for me that I still haven't played.
Was so it was a great experience, and the story like was really deep. I was shocked at how deep this game was, especially when the beginning was kind of rather irritating with Boozer. Just every 5 seconds calling you, checking in. It's like, dude, you're what, 30 and you're supposed to be in a biker gang? Like, why the hell are you checking up on me every 3 seconds? I get it. You're my buddy. Relax.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Like, the game kept opening up bigger and bigger. Like, you think it's this small map, and then it just kind of gets bigger, and then you go down south, and there's this kind of map the size of the entire first part of the map. Like, it's this really huge, almost overwhelmingly large open world, which is really cool. And it's just kind of the way they kind of drip it to you like over a certain amount of time, and then just like you were saying, this is another game this game was on my list too for console exclusives. Just like how stressful it is when you have to find a horde, and you have to like beat it, and like there's some times where you're literally just running for like 5 minutes, like trying to circle it, trying to like get
that angle,
just get a couple more zombies here, a couple more zombies there, and like at any wrong turn, or if you like run out of stamina or anything, you'll just get clobbered by like thousands of zombies, and it's just you're always on edge.
Yes, so I thought that was an extremely unique feeling for a game. So, and I think they even though there was like mediocre reviews, they've also been giving a lot of like free content. Every DLC has been free for that game. And I do hope that they announce at some point later a Days Gone 2.
Yeah, they should. I mean, it sold well, but it was kind of strange because I really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously you really enjoyed it, but it seemed like it it got very mixed reviews. Like some people weren't very hot on it, but to me, it was one of the best games of the year, especially I mean, the more I look back on it this year, especially for console exclusives, it seems like there was kind of a weak year. Like last year we had God of War, Spider-Man, like all these AAA games, but a lot of the best games of this year I feel like were multi-platformer. But just to have this kind of like Sony exclusive that was just kind of really fun, just like really a kind of a different play on the kind of typical what would be like a Ubisoft kind of game where it's just a big open world but with zombies, but just to the fact that like the characters were actually cool and like I cared about what was going to happen to them in this game and just how it kind of added more and more every kind of chapter there was more to do. Which was really cool. So yeah, like you, I'm hoping there's some sort of sequel coming in the next couple of years.
It definitely needed one.
Yeah, and then also say, I was kind of joking before, but Death Stranding was actually my pick for best console exclusive.
Oh, you're giving me crap. All right. I saw it.
And I think I pick on it a little bit. A lot of the charm is just how unique, or like utterly unique.
Is this the first one you're talking about, or did you mention? I'm sorry.
I was talking about Days Gone, and now I'm talking about Death Stranding.
So did it just transition from him to you through Days Gone?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Unless he.
I wasn't paying attention because I didn't play Days Gone.
That's all I had. You should at some point.
You should.
But,
no. I do.
And I own it, so you can just borrow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Dan was saying, just like some of the funny moments, even just the fact that, there's a side quest with like Conan O'Brien and you're doing like silly stuff with him. Just the fact that you never know what's going to happen because Hideo is just so bizarre that like, oh yeah, you can find Conan O'Brien and he's going to tell you need to buy like an otter suit. You have to deliver him an otter suit because he's a big, like basically like a giant furry fan or whatever it ends up being.
I feel like I want to play the game just for that moment.
Yeah, it's pretty
funny.
It's pretty great. Just him.
He is himself, and like your character doesn't laugh, like he doesn't find anything funny, so he throws a bunch of like really like quirky jokes out to you, and your character doesn't do anything. He's like and then,
just like otter.
Yeah, and he's just no. It's really funny.
Yeah, I do think the game overstays its welcome. It feels like the main storyline is maybe 15 hours longer than it needs to be. It does get a little slow and repetitive, but again, just because it's so unique. And I also feel like, I don't want to knock on it too much, but just like the weakness of the console exclusives this year, I didn't feel like there was a lot. I mean, we had this Days Gone, Gears 5, which I didn't get to play, which I think could be fun. I want to try that out, but there's really not as much as there was like last year where I think this wouldn't be able to hold a candle to a lot of those games. But
yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Okay, so not that it matters because it seems like both of you picked the same thing.
Well, you can still change our mind.
Well, all right. So here's the thing.
Point.
I went into this. I didn't do a lot of research on this one because I typed in console exclusives for the year, and the first one I saw, I'm like, oh my god, absolutely, because I know this isn't going to win Game of the Year. And it was the best console exclusive, and I had so much fun with it. Oh my god, Link's Awakening. So that was like, oh my god. But like, if I'm being realistic, I forgot that Death Stranding was a console exclusive, and Link's Awakening, amazing game, probably one of the best games I played this year. I brought it on a plane trip and told myself like, oh, I bought the Goose. I went through Hell in a Handbag to get the Goose game, and I brought Octopath Traveler. Matt, I still have to get that back to you. And I brought Link's Awakening with me, and the whole plan was to play more of the other two, but then I ended up just playing Link's Awakening the entire week because I like could not stop playing. But honestly, even though my vote again doesn't really matter, I guess I agree. Death Stranding was probably the best console exclusive of the year. Again, this is coming from someone who didn't even play it, but like, it was a big game. It was a big game.
Yeah.
And personally, I probably think Link's Awakening is a better game, and I probably had more fun playing Link's Awakening. But like, I can understand Death Stranding winning that category, so I will just kind of concede at that point.
Yeah, and it's nice that Death Stranding is like completely new. Like, I have no problem with remakes or updates winning like categories, but like Link's Awakening really is just that GameCube game, but looks a lot better.
Yeah,
so it's not like they really added any. It wasn't anything kind of new or
and that's why that was a similar thing I was gonna bring up with that's why I didn't think it should be Game of the Year, and I'm like, oh, I can definitely get it in for this category, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot about Death Stranding. Oh my god, I even just accidentally wrote down Link's Awakening as the winner. Whoops.
Whoa. Well, I mean, it was on Dan. I guess you're not going to be able to commit. I was going to say it was on Dan's list, but I don't think he's going to switch from Death Stranding to.
I'm like I said, I'm conceding. I agree with both of you. I think Death Stranding should win console exclusive.
Yeah, I feel like it was by far the biggest impact. Like
I was just excited because I'm like,
this year too.